So the next one that I want to talk about is team player. And you might not see that, you might not think that a scout notices that, but you actually knows that. Um, a team player. Well, first of all, no coach, no team that's selecting you if they want you on your team or scout wants a guy that's an individual that thinks of himself because it shows. It shows in body language. It shows in the things that you do, decisions that you make on the ice. So they want team players because a rising tide raises all ships, right? What can I do to be better? So like the typical, a good example would be if you, well, I'll use one close to home where you're playing good hockey and you just like, well, I want to get on the power play too. It's like, but maybe that's just not your role. But maybe it's just not your role right now. So does that affect your game? A team player is going to do their job to the best of their ability, right? And it doesn't like, and of course you want more, but you're going to do your job. You're going to do it to the best of your ability. Um, um, you don't win with selfish guys. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to do little things, right? Little things that are going to help your team win, and they might not be the most glamorous thing. Um, a team player is going to be able to read the game and take care of teammates. So tough, not tough, whatever. If one of your guys gets maybe a dirty shot or a shot, you might be a team guy, whether he's going to win or lose that battle again, is going to at least step in there and stand up for his guy, right? Or you're going to read the game from a situational standpoint as a team player, right? So let's say it's an empty net and you're down by a goal, up by a goal, whatever it is, but you've got an empty net, and the other team has an empty net, and you get the puck. A team player situationally is going to read the game and say, "What's the most important aspect of the game right now? Is this to sit on this lead, or is it to take a chance and fire it and get myself another goal?" Right. The most important thing is that puck gets out, unless the coach tells you otherwise.
Yep.
But it's to make a situational play, read the game, thinking of the team, not about your own individual stats or your own individual glory. It's no matter who you are, is being able to be willing to block that shot, even though that might not be your skill set or your go-to asset as a player. But you got to be willing to get in front of shots, or I'm just using a couple
Yeah, yeah,
examples there.
yeah.
But see what your team needs at certain times, right? So like you could be a really tough guy too, like a real good grinder guy, and have a chance to bury someone. Like I mean, bury someone and it's a 2-2 game with 5 minutes left, and then you might want to say like at this point it might be this one might go overboard, so I might have to hold up a little bit and do more of a stick check and
Yeah,
finish
great
the hit. So like
example.
it's like just it's a flip of a coin because a lot of times when we talk about doing things for your team, it always comes like a lot of times it comes across as doing the really tough shit.
Yeah.
But sometimes the tough shit is for a tough guy to take it easy, right? Or even as a team, sometimes if you're running around and you're trying to throw, you're winning a game where the game needs to be a little bit more control. Maybe you don't have to hit quite as much. Like it's just reading those little things in a game
Yep.
that makes a huge difference. It's so managing situations, keeping pucks deep and not trying to over carry pucks in certain situations. It's face-offs, it's wall plays, it's boxing out, like all those little details that help your team. So like no one gets a free ride to the net when you're on the ice. Like it's always like a little bit of a box out to help your team to be able to perform at their best. And sometimes it's energy when a team needs it, right? Like if you're sitting on a bench, you just seem like your team's flat. Like that doesn't mean you have to be flat. It's you can go do something, or you could do like find a way to get your team energized.
Hmm.
And it could be through skating the puck through the neutral zone. It could be driving the net. It could be a big hit. It could be a great block shot, whatever, good stick. And then sometimes it's talking when it's needed. So sometimes you'll see that on the as well too. Is you'll see a quiet bench. It's kind of like the energy thing. But sometimes that's when you need to talk, and sometimes you need to shut the hell up. So one of the things about leadership too, right, and being a team guy is like I did an exercise like this with I had one of my friends that was a joint task force military guy, really good friend, and he taught me not taught me, but he gave me a couple exercises where we had to do a task with these kids that we had, and he said, okay, so you're the leader, Eric. Your team has to do A, B, and C. So go. So the leadership qualities showed when you were the leader of the team and you're always given the direction and always telling people what to do, or everybody was talking and no one could hear the one leader, or you were told to appoint a leader and you couldn't let them lead. So the point is that sometimes as a leader, as a good teammate, even though you might be the best guy on the team or you're the mouthy, like the loudest guy on the team and stuff, sometimes you have to take a step back and let someone else do it, let someone else do their role. Like it can not always is not always you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's another thing with being a team player is little things like that.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes a really hard thing for people to understand the team concept.
That's what I was going to say, man. The being a team guy thing.
It's really hard.
Yep.
Because the thing is with being a team guy is that sometimes you have to admit a weakness, right? Because you might be the guy that gets the first, second, or third star every game, gets a little bit extra ice, gets the first half of a power play. Like you're the let's say you're first center and I'm second center, like, and we're both really good, but you're the guy. You're the guy. For me, what it should do is drive me. You should be able to raise me up. That would be good teammate, and I should be able to accept the fact that you are not necessarily accept that you're better, but understand that you bring just that little bit more to the team. And if I bring everything I got to the team, that our team is actually better.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you can be jealous. You can look at ice time. You can look at points. You can look at all these little things that could just erode at you and piss you off.
Yep.
And I would argue that, you take a combination of Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. You take Malkin and Crosby. You take Draisaitl and Crosby. McDavid. I'm sure, or McDavid and Crosby. I'm sure there's time.
Draisaitl, McDavid.
Whatever. I'm in the league. But you take those and you got egos.
Yeah.
You got pride. You've got, I want to be the guy too. But, if you want the team to win, sometimes you have to accept a role that's not exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Hardest thing to learn when you're a teenager, because maybe an analogy that is applicable. When you're in high school, the whole world feels like high school. As soon as you get a couple years out of high school, you realize how irrelevant high school is. And when you're a player, I had the same kind of epiphany thing when I went from junior into playing with the university, when it was like my whole world is about me and my hockey success, to the transitioning to it's about the team success. It was the same kind of, wow, was I off base moment, because I remember that I didn't truly become a complete team player where I can honestly say to myself, I wasn't doing that pretend team player thing. You know what I mean by that?
Which is huge.
Huge, where it's like you say the right things and you act like you're doing the right actions for the team, but your secret motivation is still for your success, where it's not actually for the team's success. And I would probably put myself into that category more when I played junior, where it was like, people probably would have described me as a good team guy when I played junior, but my number one was still me. I remember that. My number one was still like, I want my ice. I want my points. I want my notoriety and success on the team. I want my letter. I want to wear a C or the A. I remember that distinctly in my head.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. A very close second, if I'm being honest with myself, was the team stuff. Like, I did care about the team, but not before me. Like, I still wanted me to be successful first, which makes sense to a certain degree, because when you're a kid growing up, like, you're the focal point of everything. Like, the world revolves around you until you're an adult and someone says, hey kid, it's actually not all about you.
Yeah.
So that transition happened when I finally was in university and I started playing genuinely I don't want to say not caring about my personal performance, but genuinely prioritizing what the team needed first over me. And the funny thing about that, the paradox, is it was easier for me to play when I thought like that. Yeah. It was actually easier. It took a lot of pressure off when I didn't think of my personal numbers and my stats and whatever, because a lot of times, even if you're getting the stats, you're getting the points or the time or whatever, that doesn't mean you're playing well. That doesn't mean that you're having a good game or that you're contributing to the team's success, right? You can have all these goals, but like you said, if you're not a good team guy, Like you're gonna run out of rope because you're gonna be cutting corners. If it's just about your success, then you're gonna be doing things that maybe in the short term get you some benefit, but in the long term is not how you play. And I remember talking with kids about this, especially younger kids. If you're a younger player and you're better than everyone when you're
Yeah.
young, the tendency can be to not play the game properly because it's frustrating that other kids can't do the same things you can do. So if you're the best player, it's so much easier for you to just skate through everybody and score, but that's not how you play. That's not going to make you a better hockey player. If you can raise the puck first, it's better in that moment to be the guy that shoots every time because you're the one that can raise the puck, so you're probably going to score.
Yeah.
But you're not learning that actually in real hockey that should have been a pass, or actually you can't skate through everyone when you're a defenseman every time. And those types of things, for your own selfish reasons, you'll prioritize instead of just playing properly.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that was really, really valuable to learn. And I wish I would have had it when I was in junior, and I didn't. Just by a few points, I wasn't quite there, and it would have been really helpful to have. And it's a hard thing. I vividly remember when I was playing junior, that tendency to, you want the spotlight, like you want the, and that's fine to a certain degree. You obviously, I'm not saying you don't want to sacrifice your own success, because you do want to have that. But if you can genuinely prioritize team success partnered with your own success as opposed to one before the other, then you'll be a lot better off personally playing and in the eyes of people watching and evaluating you.
100%.
Yeah.
Like the funny thing is, as you said, most kids are the best kids are in youth hockey are the best kids. So goal scoring and all that stuff is, it's just easier than. But once it levels out, when you get to a junior level, or maybe it's an elite AAA level or pro level, then roles become huge.
Yeah.
And if you cannot accept, I'm not saying accept that. Let's say you're in your third year of junior and you're on the second line as a checker, but you never get a power play, get some penalty kill. It could, and you're 19, let's say, you can have a burr up your ass very easy because you want that. But the team doesn't need that. They've got their guys. So it's very easy, as you said, to have poopy pants about it. And sit there, I just want the chance. Like, let's face it, there's 5,000 people watching you. You would like to get the goals. You want the ice time. You want the scouts to say, wow, that guy did. But they're also looking at every time that checker, let's say, comes on the ice, he checks. That's a valuable thing. It's, and of course you're trying to score goals, and of course you're doing everything, but your priority is to do your job to the absolute best of your ability and to help your team win. And if someone understands that, then all of a sudden they go on the ice and they do their job to help their team win, not just to have a good game. And some kids will never get a power play. Like Welly was saying that when he played junior, he never got a power play, but he played in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
And he played in the NHL because he did a job really well. It was about the team. So if you can contribute to team success, then it makes you valuable at the higher levels.
Yep.
And you're not worried about the glory. Everybody wants it, man. Everybody wants it. But there's, what you have to understand is that you either might not be good enough or you're really good at something else. And if you can accept that and be on a winning team or help your team win, then you become valuable. And then it allows you a lot better chance to make a buck at it.
Yeah. I think this is